No. Not again. I'm out of here.
Welcome everybody to the SF Virtual Happy Hour. Today we're going to cover West Coast thrash, and we have a bunch of guests today. We have Nikki Blakk. We have Will Carroll from Death Angel. We have Phil Sandoval from Armored Saint, and we have Perry and Bobby from Perry and Bobby from Vio-Lence, and the usual other suspects, Willard's on, and a few more people will join. I'm going to start off with a "Who is Nikki Blakk" video. It's pretty funny, humorous, and then after we will talk to Nikki and find out what she's been up to. So I will go ahead and share that.
Are we sharing?
Almost. No, that was the other one. That was the other one. Sorry. We are. We're sharing. Here.
I'm waiting. Is Nikki Blakk? Will, you look intense.
Am I supposed to know?
Nikki Blakk.
Nikki Blakk, no.
Perfect. No idea.
Who is what? What? Who's Nikki Blakk? I don't know. No idea. It's that girl.
Who doesn't know Nikki Blakk?
Oh yeah, well this is
We go back like 7 crayons.
Who is Nikki Blakk? Is that what you're asking me?
That's the question.
Nikki Blakk is magic.
Oh, Nikki Blakk is this beautiful ray of sunshine on a dark carpet. It's, you know, our metal queen.
Who's Nikki Blakk? Someone that pretty much knows it all. Tries to act like she doesn't know it all, but she thinks she knows it all. But she does know it all. We love you.
Nikki Blakk is one of my dearest friends from a long time ago. I think I've met her, 15, 20 years ago. But she's an awesome chick. I love her, and she's done so much for the scene, and she rules. Thank you, Nikki Blakk.
Hey, this is Bob, and I'll be seeing you sometime in San Francisco, but I know you guys want to see Nikki Blakk. She's playing on the scene in San Francisco. So crank it up and rock it hard. This is Vinny Paul, over and out. Hell yeah!
Hey now, Nikki Blakk, under the attack, going hard, motherfucker, step back. Nikki Blakk, represent all things metal, all things crunchy, all things metallic, tony, tingy, ringy, screamy, supporting the scene. Thanks for doing it wherever you're at, whatever station it is, even if it's a tiny little thing, if it's a big thing, when you move on to the future of the world and broadcasting to Mars. You're doing it for metal and you're doing a beautiful thing. Nikki Blakk.
Who is Nikki Blakk? She's this kick-ass metal lady from the East Bay, or from the Bay Area, and every time I go up to San Francisco, I do her show, and she knows her That's who Nikki Blakk is.
Who is Nikki Blakk? She is the most metal person, not just female person on the planet. Sports metal till the end.
And I was going to say she has metal radio hostess ever.
Nikki Blakk is the most awesome Northern Californian DJ, rock and roll, beautiful woman ever.
Nikki Blakk is the Bay Area hero for radio. She is the one and only metal DJ. There is no other. There's no other. He's got the juice. There's no other that knows everyone that knows what they're talking about. That's what Nikki Blakk is.
Who's Nikki Blakk?
The most awesome caterer giving good food wench I've ever seen.
I am Nikki Blakk. I am Nikki Blakk. That's all I got to say. I am the most hottest, raddest, coolest, righteous, awesome, drumming, fooling Nikki Blakk. That's me. I am Nikki Blakk.
It's fun.
When did Chuck straighten his hair? That was weird. Sorry, but that was really good.
Obviously, that was a long time ago. I haven't seen that in forever, and clearly, you know, Vinny and Lemmy are no longer with us, and neither is my dog. So it was that long ago.
Thank you. That was fun. Thanks for sharing that with me so I could share it with everyone. I think I caught you in a bite, so I'll let you chew first. But I wanted to invite one of the kind of most known, I guess, metal DJs, probably one of the most famous ones in our day, Nikki Blakk. Wanted to kind of find out a little bit more about your beginnings, and I was looking you up, and I think we actually went to States at the same time studying the same thing, BCA, radio and TV. No, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so. I think you were after me. But anyway, I'll let you tell your story. And looking forward to BCA from 89 to 91, 92.
Okay. I went back to college way later. I finished high school at 90, then I didn't really go to college until 2000. More like 98-ish.
Oh, that's why. I was like, I didn't know her then. Okay,
yeah,
that's like 10 years after. Okay. So anyway, I'll let you.
College in 2001. Okay, who's got all the background noise? I can barely hear anyone.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute everybody. Everyone, if I haven't muted you, can you mute yourself? And then, because I'm recording this and just don't want to make sure we can hear what she's saying and have the recording be clean. So thank you. I think we're good.
If you don't have someone to mute you, mute yourself. Yeah, okay, so I guess I grew up in Fairfield and got into metal as a kid. And then I think it was like 89 when, I don't know if you guys remember, know Jimmy Walker from Dress the Dead. He had a band, he's from Fairfield too. So he had a band that wanted to play a show at this place called the Party Palace that kind of had a reputation in Fairfield because it had some riots and some kind of police shutdown things for youth dances and stuff. So he asked me to do one for him. He's like, help me out. The police won't give me a permit. We want to do the show. So I kind of just became this one-woman promoter in Fairfield and put this show together, talked the police department into giving me a permit, and booked Sacrilege and Epidemic and Jimmy's band Cold Shoulder and a band from Vallejo called Crucial Omen, and put on a show.
Crucial Omen, wow.
I know, right? People forget I'm so legit. So Salado County in the house, yo. I come by it honestly. And that was January 1990, I think, at that point. So I think I decided I just wanted to go to lots of concerts. And I either wanted to work for like Bill Graham or I wanted to be in radio. But I kind of just fucked off, you know, being like a lot of us. I didn't really have anything together. So I just got a job at a record store and was going to shows and having fun. And then I got canned from the record store, worked at a pool hall, then got a job at Bass Tickets, and then kind of started skirting the industry. But when Bass Tickets got bought out, I kind of had to get serious. And that was what, like 98? So that's when I went back to college. And at the time, I thought, oh, I'll go work for a record label. And then before I finished college, the record labels were toast. So it was like, okay, well, I'll try radio and I'll try concert promoting. So I got internships at 107.7 The Bone and at Bill Graham Presents. And for about the last, that was what, 2000? So yeah, so for all of this century, I've either been working for a radio station or BGP / SFX / Clear Channel / Live Nation ever since.
Okay. So,
That's
and you had a radio show for. Tell us about that. Your radio show.
Hardcore
Sure.
Hell, or
Sort of. Well, I started in radio. I was an intern at the Bone, and then I switched up and got a job as an assistant producer at KMBR. And then I went to the Ticket 1050 as a producer, and then finished college and got a job on the air at Rock 96.7 in Modesto, and then parlayed that into KSJO. And then at KSJO, that's when I talked them into doing a metal show. And they were like, oh, we used to have a metal show, and it was called Hardcore Hell. So we can just use all the old production, and that's what we'll call your metal show. And I was like, oh, really? All right. I guess if that's what I got to do to get a metal show, okay. And at the time, Billy Steele was doing the Metal Zone on the Bone.
Right.
And so I kind of was, I mean, I was obviously conscious of that. Billy and I have been friends the whole time. And I felt like there was room in the market for more metal. You know, what was good for metal was good for all of us. And Billy and I are like 6 years apart, I think. So he was very much there for all of that new wave of British heavy metal stuff. And I came in like around 85, 86. So that 6-year difference ended up being really different when it came to format. So I think it kind of slid into the Bay Area dynamic really well, having two metal shows. And then I got him to change the name to Midnight Metal and to push it to 4 nights a week. I think it was like Wednesday through Saturday night at midnight. And then when KSJO went under, I ended up back at the Bone. And Billy and I were both up for the afternoon drive slot. And when they ended up putting me on afternoon drive, Billy decided to go back into a field that pays you money for your work. And when he left the station, I took over the Metal Zone. Actually, I take that back. Todd Pine came in and took over Metal Zone for a minute before we had Cumulus took over, and they cut the budget, which meant we couldn't afford to have someone do the night shift. So then Todd got let go. He was back at 101.7 The Fox, where I had been for like a minute. And then that's when they asked me to take over the Metal Zone, if I remember correctly. That was probably like 2006-ish, mid 2006.
Okay. And how long did you do that for?
The Metal Zone was, I was on the Metal Zone for, about 9 years. I think because I did 5 years afternoon drive and 4 years on nights. And then I thought when I quit that they would just hand it all over to Jaeger, and that Jaeger would take over nights and take over the Metal Zone and keep it going. But Cumulus had other ideas, and they didn't do that. They decided to have the show voice tracked by a guy out of Cincinnati, and they dropped the metal show.
I was wondering what happened. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's the nutshell version.
All right. So,
and I got to, if I, you know what, there's a lot of people in the Bay Area that just love the Bone, especially when you were on it. There were a lot of my friends who are like, yeah, you're just in a metal band. But if you happen to grace the radio station and be on the radio station, you got some really, really serious cool points with your friends. So Nikki and Billy Steele, of course, I mean, you know, always had a lot of metal bands on. And I mean, such a big part of the scene, you guys. You guys were so great to all of us. And just wanted to always just say thanks. I mean, we were.
Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people have any idea what Billy and I had to go through behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, well, some of us, but yeah, you're right.
Billy really had to. Billy really convinced Larry, Larry Sharp, the program director at the time, who's launched the Bone. Billy convinced him that the Metal Zone was something that needed to happen, and then managed to convince him it needed to be like 2-3 hours long, which in commercial radio in major markets is completely unheard of. So kudos to Billy for pushing that and creating it from the ground up, and to Larry for letting it happen. And then the two of them together providing enough of a basis for me to be able to go to KSJO and be like, look at this. Why aren't we doing this?
Right.
And for KSJO to have it happen too. So there's a lot of garbage bullshit that goes on behind the scenes with the company explaining to them how it's going to make them money when it comes to something that, you know, you love.
Right. Well, you guys are huge, right? You probably know that. I mean, you guys are very well known for everything you guys have done. I mean, especially in the metal world. I mean, everybody knows who Nikki Blakk is, you know.
No, not really. I mean, that's why we made that video. That was like, the video was like the big joke, right? It's like, who the hell is this chick? And the best part is getting Lemmy to go, who? What the fuck are you talking about? So we're
Well,
like, hey,
you know,
you tell people who you are. And I was like, I'm not really comfortable doing that. I'm way more comfortable letting other people tell you who I am, because otherwise people think I'm just full of myself.
Right.
You know, my one encounter with Nikki was at the Tau Records on Geary when Slayer was doing the Apocalypse soundtrack to the Apocalypse signing. And I remember, was it not Geary? Is that not? The one in the city, the Tau Records in the city. I remember there was a fire started, the KSJO van, or was it KSJO? Yeah, the KSJO van was stolen. You know, and Nikki came up to me and a couple of buddies of mine. She's like, hey man, you know, I'm doing this show, it's gonna be metal. I'm like, you guys play like British wave metal, but I mean, you guys don't do anything thrash. She's like, no, it's gonna be thrash, it's gonna be this. I'm like, all right, dude, I'm down. Hell yeah. Been listening ever since. And man, thank you. Just that, between that and college radio, that's pretty much what saved me. So thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. If there's one thing I'm here for, it's to take a lot of shit from people who don't think I know what I'm talking about. Everybody was like, oh yeah, KSJO's gonna do metal show. What are you gonna do? Play Iron Maiden back to back over and over?
Oh no. Once we started talking about bands, I was like, no man, this chick knows her stuff, man. And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah.
It's not the big bands, it's the small ones. It's like, yeah, I booked Epidemic. You're like, oh my God, okay.
That was in 1990. I know.
But still, it's all, you know, that's you had to have been dealing with all of us and everybody in between, you know, in order to know that, right? Or do that. So that's legit right there.
Yeah,
so.
I think that's where, like, if you watch Phil's part in the video, when Demo's like, yeah, she really does know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
I did spend a lot of time getting a lot of flack from a lot of people who were like, I'm sorry, who are you? Really?
They probably
like,
weren't up at midnight, right?
I don't remember you. You weren't there. And I'm like, I was there, but I lived in Fairfield. So no, you didn't know me because, you know,
well, you remember, you know, metal radio and even MTV or Headbangers Ball, you know, everything's on after midnight, you know, so most of us were still partying and wide awake. So we were all there watching it. So some weren't.
Nikki, what were some of like the bigger challenges that you did kind of get through and overcome? I'm sure. I mean, first of all, it's a very male-dominated kind of industry to understand.
Truly is. I mean, somebody actually told me women in radio get no respect, and it starts by not having a last name. So whatever you do, when you do get a job on the air, make sure that your air name has a full name like a real person. And there's kind of two positions in radio. One is like the chick everybody wants to get with, and the other one is the giggle girl who like reads the traffic and laughs at the news. And I mean, that's how program directors see it. So the idea that a woman could anchor an afternoon drive shift in a major market is kind of sadly novel. When I was on an afternoon drive, I was the only woman in the Bay Area on afternoon drive in 2006 to 2011. And then when they bumped me, they actually were like, nobody's going to notice. They're like, we're just going to put you on nights. It's fine. We're bringing in our program director. we've got this guy, we want to be the new program director, and we're going to put him on in the afternoons, just because, you know, we're not going to move Seaweed, and he has to take an air shift so we can save money. And I was like, well, why doesn't he just voice track nights? And they're like, no, we need live nights because there was some kind of an issue and we need to have a person there at night. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
thanks. You know, and then in the
Yeah.
wake of that, they lost a 7-figure advertising account that I had an exclusive with, and the ratings took a shit for like 12 straight months. And I mean, all these things happened, and I kept going to them being like, hey, just a thought, maybe put me back on afternoons. And they were like, oh, you're so cute that you think you have anything to do with it.
God.
That's so sweet.
That sucks.
Yeah, oh yeah. It was,
Yeah.
I mean, it was so cliche. It's almost like hearing myself talk about it out loud is actually exhausting, having lived it. And, you know, that was part of the long-term contribution to me leaving, ultimately.
Okay.
You can only take so much disrespect.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
I guess what were some of the wins? What were some of the most memorable moments that you had?
Oh no, I don't even mean to make it sound like it was shit. I mean, I loved every minute.
Oh no. No.
I mean, like, I got to bring my dog to work. I got to have my friends come in and be on the air with me. I mean, every single Metal Zone live show that had my friends on was just epic. Fortunately, a lot of them are on video on my YouTube page, so you can see how, like, we're just giggle fest. Probably the best one was when I think it was before Fear Fest Evil, the first one, and I had Kirk Hammett and Gary Holt on the show, but like they were both super late, and Kirk showed up and called from like next door where the bar was and was like, hey, we're getting drinks next door. And I was like, cool, show's supposed to be on right now. Stop. Can you come over? And then I was like, fuck this, dude, right? Like, I just looked at my intern and I was like, I'm just gonna voice track a couple of things here, and you guys just keep it rolling. I'm gonna go next door and get a drink. And I went next door.
I love it.
And then
That's awesome.
Gary showed up, and he showed up next door as well. So it's me and Kirk and Gary, and we're at the Thirsty Bear, and we're having drinks. And my intern calls over, and I was like, fuck it, dude, just put this on the air. So he went live on the air, and I was like, so I'm next door at the Thirsty Bear, trying to get Kirk and Gary to come over to be on the station, which is the whole reason we're all here. And then finally they did. So that was one of my favorites. We just laughed the whole time. It was so much fun. And honestly, just getting to kind of bring Bay Area metal to the world via the internet and streaming, which we didn't really have before then. And I was really excited to see how wide the audience got, you know, people listening all around the world at all hours of the day and night because of the internet streaming ability.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
toast.
I probably
Let's
have a
toast
lot
to
of
Nikki.
stories,
I mean,
but I just don't know where to start.
oh no.
Huh?
Let's
Toast
have a
to
drink.
Nikki.
Let's
It's a
toast to
toast to
Nikki.
Come again?
There you go.
Oh, tough. Cheers.
Nick,
Cheers.
for going through all that shit to play metal.
And I never complained to you guys about it. I just sucked it up and did it. I know.
Expressing your
all right,
feelings
thanks.
is not complaining. In line.
All right. Awesome.
You
Thank
might
you.
take that, but believe me, it comes back to bite you when you do.
It does sometimes.
It really does.
That's where you just have to shrug it off and not really give a damn.
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, it was so fun. I mean, it was 15 years on the air in the Bay Area, Northern California, and I love doing it. I would do it again. It's just that the corporate-owned radio atmosphere is really difficult. I was gonna go back to the Bone after Steven quit, but then Cumulus declared bankruptcy and did the same thing that they did when they took over after Billy Steele. They just cut that budget and were like, and we're just not going to have anybody live. We're just going to make somebody voice track it.
Wow.
And I was like,
Okay.
oh,
That's awesome.
okay.
Yeah, that'll work.
Gosh. So
But
what
it
are you
does.
doing?
I mean, the way the radio business model is now, they don't need it to be hyper successful. That's the disappointing part. You know how everybody talks about branding and brand marketing and brand campaigns? Radio was like the original brand campaign. Radio branding is infamous going back to the 60s and 70s. and especially the 80s and 90s. But they've kind of given up the branding model now because everybody's ratings are determined by a device that I think there's 2,000 or 1,800 people in the Bay Area carrying a ratings device. So rather than try to kind of bond with everybody, now they're just trying to catch anybody that happens to have a device on them to get them to listen, which is why you'll hear the same U2 and Red Hot Chili Peppers song on every single station across the dial.
Right.
Okay. So they still use that, because I did internships like during college at KDFC and different places, but so they still do that kind of
Yeah,
thing to
so like
measure.
when you were in college, it was all diary system, right? So all you were trying to do is bond with a listener to be like, dude, you and me, you're gonna write my name down in that diary, right? Like, we're bros. So when you get your diary, you're gonna write KSJO rules across all the pages. That's the only one you listen to is KSJO. But now people can't lie about it. You know? I mean, that was
Yeah.
the end of K-Fog. What killed K-Fog is that it was such a great brand image that everyone in the Bay Area said they were listening to K-Fog. And then when the diary system went away and these devices caught the truth, the bone shot up in the ratings and K-Fog kind of started circling the bowl.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably true with all metal stations, right? And all heavy metal. I mean, it's so much, it has such a lasting, it's such a lasting brand that doesn't get the respect it deserves. I mean, our band is one of those stupid little things where it proves it right there, right? I mean, we have 3 albums out and people are still buying and loving the music 30 years later. And and a lot with metal. I mean, I'm still listening to Metallica. I was listening to Megadeth all day today because I love it, man. It's and some of it's 35 years old, and I'm still digging on it like I do when I listen to Peter Frampton or anything like that. So is anybody going to listen to Justin Bieber in 30 years? I doubt it. I really doubt it.
Well, the problem isn't so much that as that you're now all a commodity. Okay, who's Cuckoo Clock?
I was like looking at you.
I was thinking. Sorry.
Yeah, that was you thinking.
But it was a funny thing.
Oh my
So we're
god.
all a
You see the
commodity
smoke?
now, and the image of the rock station and the image of the rock listener, and especially the metal fan, is that we're all kind of like broke and toothless black t-shirt wearing people who work at gas stations. No, I mean, I swear to God, this is the image. This is the image that they battle, and which is why there's so many top 40 stations and so many country stations and so many adult contemporary stations, because they think those people are the affluent ones with disposable income. They don't understand that we all grew up, and a lot of us own homes and recreational vehicles and multiple cars, and we're consumers with considerable dollars behind us to spend. And if they would realize that, they would understand that we're a very underserved niche market with a lot of cash.
Right.
But they don't. They don't give.
Which is stupid, right? Because I mean, you can look at Spanish stations too that are on every AM radio. I mean, how big is the market for every Spanish-speaking station? But they're there because those people are, I think, authentically playing to their audience, right? And so therefore they have created their own market and they're playing to it. And I think that is just, some old school, business theories that are really overlooked nowadays, because, obviously it's AM. I mean, how big of an audience can they have? But they're still surviving because they love it and they're playing all the music that all the people that they play to love. It's pretty simple and it works great. It's just sad that the industry sometimes misses that.
Also, a while back, and this is what killed KSJO actually, when they were changing the rating system, they kind of did some kind of weird math that overweighted Spanish-speaking stations. So KSJO was in a market with 3 other Spanish stations getting a 3 share, and the other Spanish stations were all getting like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 share. So the way Clear Channel looked at KSJO was like, well, if we get a Spanish station and we get even like a sliver of those 3 Spanish station audiences, we're still going to have higher ratings than KSJO. And the ratings tell us how much we can charge for our advertising dollars. which means how much money we're making. And so that's why we KSGO in Spanish.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's lazy marketing is what it is. Lazy marketing and business plan.
Yeah. It's interesting, Nikki, until basically you and your show came on in the Bay Area. We just didn't have that. And when I would visit maybe other states, the programming was way more heavy than anything the Bay Area had until like you had your show here, because you drive around, it's like, is that Slayer? Like you're in like South Dakota or, somewhere like that. The other smaller markets, they do play that kind of stuff, but not these major markets like San Francisco, no, until like you came around.
I'd be surprised if they still played it now, because they've consolidated all the ownership and programming so much. We actually got away with it at the Bone for a long, long time because we were a big market and a big station. But a lot of the smaller markets and smaller stations are getting programmed by like one guy. There'll be one guy who's the regional program director for 2 or 3 or 6 states, and he'll decide what songs they're playing, and he'll give them what to choose from. And then there's a computer algorithm that'll program the music. At the Bone, we ended up, because I was assistant program director for the last 3 years I was on the station, so I was programming the music as well.
Okay.
And so they were kind of not really paying attention to what we did with the music as long as the ratings went up. And the ratings were up and they were doing well, but then right around the time I left, they were really cracking down. They're like, hey, you can't keep doing this. You need to play these Red Hot Chili Pepper songs. You need to play these U2 songs, and you need to add. I remember going to the Max because they wanted me to add, what is that song? The Outfield. You know that song, Your Love by the Outfield?
Yes, that was big. That was huge.
Yeah, sure. It was a big, huge 80s hit. But when somebody came to me and was like, add this, I was like, wait, what? for K-Fog, you mean? Are we putting this in the K-Fog library? And he was like, no, for the Bone. And I was like, wait, no, dude, no, you don't understand. And he's like, no, this song, it's the new Don't Stop Believin'. And I was like, it's not. It's so not. There's nothing about this song that is Don't Stop Believin'. This song is like a one-hit wonder pop song from the 80s that was only popular in the U.S. It's by an English band that's not even big in England. Dude, I get that it was big at the roller rink for a couple of years, and I get that it's big on the 80s station, but it is not Bone material, and the amount of listeners that you were going to turn off, the amount of core listeners that you were going to turn off with this is not going to be worth the amount of casual listeners you're going to get from it. And so it wasn't until after I left that they added that song to the lineup.
Okay. So, so you were kind of in that cusp where it was kind of just starting, with that whole XM and Sirius and all that stuff. So, it's totally changed the landscape of radio, right? And then now we have all the Spotifys and the YouTubes and stuff. Have you thought about going that route, or are you doing other stuff? What are you doing these days?
It's complicated, really. Sirius and what was it? Sirius XM, right? They were 2 companies at the time that I was in commercial radio, and now they're Sirius XM Pandora. So the problem with Sirius XM Pandora, or Sirius XM specifically, is that their satellite went up in the air so long ago that it doesn't have the software capability to send back listener data, because when their satellite went up in the air, it was a subscription-based model. So all the money they were ever going to make was on subscriptions, no advertising. That was their promise, right? But then the recession happened, and that subscription model was the first thing people canceled. They're like, I'm not spending $10 a month on something I can get on the radio for free. So it tanked, and Sirius and XM had to merge to stay alive. And what people found out is that everybody's still pretty much listening to the radio. Like, as much as in our circle and in our perception, it seems like Sirius is a factor, and it's not. At least it hasn't been. It will be if commercial radio keeps kind of killing itself slowly by homogenizing everything to the point where people are tired of listening to the same thing over and over again, which we all know has happened with us a long time ago. But so many people are still just listening for free because that's when they want the radio. And then the rest of the time, they've got their libraries, their Spotifys, etc. as far as me getting a job at Sirius, I mean, it's been talked about. I've had meetings, but Sirius, a job at Sirius is kind of like a job at Uber. No, not really. What I'm saying is they don't pay a living wage. All their jocks are recorded. No one's live, so you're not getting like a salary. You're kind of getting a voice tracking fee, which is pretty low per show. So you have to record a lot of shows to get like a decent amount of fees added up. It'd be a great part-time job. I mean, I would love to do it, but there's also no Sirius station headquarters here. So the problem with that is the software. Again, like I said, that satellite went up a long time ago. There's no way they can upgrade the software. They can't get any listener data to kind of like fund themselves with advertising by saying, hey, we know X amount of people are listening to this classic 80s station. Hey, X amount of people are listening to Liquid Metal. Give us some money for our sponsorship. They can't do that because they can't prove who's listening. They also can't get the voice track recordings onto the air without it going through their software. And so to do that, I would have to either live in one of the 8 areas like Nashville, LA, New York, etc., or I would have to record everything at a studio or in my house here and then send it online to someone who would have to physically place the tracks into their system there, which adds another layer of payroll to the process, which isn't in the budget for them because they run on a pretty tight budget. I know it's so boring.
No. I didn't know how they operated, and I didn't know it was like that kind of like a per thing. It wasn't like a salary position, like so. It's a different model, business model than I
very different
assumed.
business model. I'm kind of like a geek when it comes to this stuff, so I'm sorry if I over-explain it.
No, that's why I asked you. I knew you would know. So thank you for that.
Now is it all per diem these days? Is it all pre-recorded jazz aside from maybe like morning shows?
Mostly.
Wow,
yeah.
that's horrible. I used to want to get into radio, but I guess not now.
Yeah, let's put it this way. I didn't leave because I wanted to. I left because it just was not fun anymore.
Wow.
I'm kind of an asshole. I've just decided I only want to do something in life that's going to make me happy. And it was getting to the point where I just wasn't happy. Just the amount of crazy and cutback.
I don't think that makes you an asshole. That makes you smart.
Yeah. The political BS, I'm sure, and all that jazz.
You should always put your happiness
How dare you
first,
be
right?
happy?
Yeah, I mean, when I left radio, I actually I went back full time at Live Nation and worked for a bunch of promoters and stuff. And working in live music is actually probably twice the hours and half the pay, but it's where the fun is now. And I'd rather make less money and work harder and have more fun than have an easy cush job chatting with people for 4 hours a day, but being kind of miserable about the whole process.
Right on.
Right. Thanks, Nikki. Hey, Will. I think I muted you earlier, but let me unmute you. Will Carroll.
Also, somebody here promised to tell me who stole the KSJO van at the Slayer signing at the Tower Records.
Yeah,
Will.
I was trying to chime in, but I guess I was muted. First of all, I don't remember a fire being there. Was there a fire during all that?
At some point, from what I heard, I don't remember the fire because I was already inside. But
there was no fire. There was no
I
fire.
don't know.
Yeah, I was with a group of guys, and I'm partly responsible for the van getting stolen. Not that I stole the van. I stole the van. I didn't steal it, but you know, we were all in line, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning or something,
wrong
right?
as shit. Yeah.
Will was the guy going, the keys are in the van. The keys are in the van.
I remember that being yelled out.
Take a gas.
So we were hanging out, and we had a 12-pack, and we're drinking, and we're looking at all the other Slayer fans in line, and it's really subdued. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is a Slayer gathering. How come people aren't going crazy and smashing shit and, you know, just Slayer style? So I finished my beer and I chucked it and it smashed off in yonder. And that kind of set the crowd off. Everyone started going, yeah, Slayer, and all that shit. And people started throwing bottles too and drinking, and it started getting rowdy. And I was talking to my friends. I was like, that's how you do it, you know? And my buddy took it as a challenge and decided to steal the KSJO van. And he definitely topped me. And the guy who stole the van was a bass player for 50 Lashes. Do you remember 50 Lashes?
Snitched him out, Will. Snitched him out.
Like I said online,
You know, Will, snitches get stitches, bro.
All right, I think I know who you're talking about.
Damn.
That's right.
The signing started at midnight, and it was like hundreds of people. So you're talking about a line that's going on for hours because everybody wants to talk and get a photo and get a signature, and and all of Slayer was there, and everybody was freaking out. But what happened was they're supposed to bring a battery supply. The interns who set up the van and the stereo system, they forgot the battery supply, so they had to plug the PA into the van, but to get the van to run the PA, they had to have the engine on. So we did that so you could have music, asshole. And then
it wasn't my idea. It wasn't my idea. He was standing there and he was looking at the van and he goes, dude, the engine is on. That means like the keys are still in the ignition. And I was like, oh my God. And he was like, watch this. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he's gonna do it. And he crawled under the van and then slithered in on the passenger side. And next thing you know, it just took off. And the whole tent was getting dragged. He was dragging
everything just fell over. Speakers went over.
He was dragging a PA speaker out of the parking lot. It was making a crazy noise. And he took off. And we were standing there in shock. I couldn't believe he did it.
You were laughing, though, weren't you?
All of us were laughing. We were all laughing.
I was trying not to be noticed. I was like, oh my God. I turned my back. And immediately Eric, security Eric, walked right up to me. Yeah, walked right up to me and said, look me in my eyes and tell me you don't know nothing about this. And I said, I can't do that. I can't do it. And I just started laughing. And he just walked away from me. He walked away. And so I was with a group of friends. One of them was his roommate. He took off and went home to see if he made it home. And he beat him home. But my friend eventually made it home. And what he did is he drove the van for like 10 blocks or maybe 8 blocks. And he panicked and jumped out and hopped in a cab and went home.
And abandoned it somewhere.
I mean, I know the police found it like a few blocks away eventually.
Yeah, it wasn't that far. And when the van rolled back into the parking lot, all the Slayer fans started booing.
Yeah, because do you know how long it took me to convince people that KSJO played Slayer?
I know. And then, so the end of the story, I finally got in and had a Slayer guy sign my stuff. And I remember it was either Dave or Carrie said to Tom, hey, man, they're stealing vans out there. And they all went, cool.
Yeah, would you expect anything less, right?
Dude, I had to come out front and be like mom and be like, okay, kids, I don't know who stole the van. Nobody's going to get in trouble here, but we kind of need to get it back, okay?
Yeah.
Just tell me where you left it. We'll send somebody to get it.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he did it. I'm sorry that happened, and I wasn't encouraging him to go that far, but he did. And
you know it's a hell of a story.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
cheers to Frankie Benali. Here's the Frankie Benali.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
So, just to quickly go over what's up with me. I'm drumming a bunch. Rob Cavastani has sent me some new music, so the embryo of New Death Angel is forming, and I've been jamming on those tunes. I'm also recording an album in late September September, early October with one of my old bands called Scarecrow. That was a band I was in right before I joined Death Angel. Damien from Death Angel was also in that band. And the main guy of the band is Matt Harvey from Exhumed. It's his brainchild. And we figured since there's downtime, we never had a chance to record the songs properly. We were around for a couple years. We played a bunch of shows. We toured, but we never had a proper recording. So with this downtime, we're going to record a full-length album. And it definitely gravitates for people who are fans of the first 4 Metallica albums. It's very Metallica heavy and inspired, especially in Justice for All era. So that's cool. I'm excited about getting those songs the proper recording they deserve. And I'm also about to start a project with Lars from Rancid. We're going to do a SOD type of sounding thing, I think. And so that should be cool. And I'm also doing my radio show. You guys are talking about radio so much, I feel like I should plug my show.
Yes, please.
I have a show on a metal service called Gimme Metal, also Gimme Radio. The father company is Gimme Radio, but it's a 24-hour heavy metal radio station. It's an app you could download to your phone or tablet or whatever, and it's free, 24 hours, and it's got lots of DJs. Nikki was a DJ for a little while early on. She actually is the one
I
who...
was like, hey, Will, how'd you get that job?
Yeah, I was just about to say it. Don't cut me off. Nikki is the one who hooked me up the whole thing. She introduced me to the people, and I've been doing it ever since. It's been over 2 years. I'm on my 215th episode, maybe. And it's every Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My show is called The Full Metal Jacket, FOOL Metal Jacket. And I definitely try to have fun with it and put humor into the show. And usually my episodes have themes. Like a month ago, I had a prison episode, and I played Vio-Lence's World in a World. So I try to go with themes every week to make it fun. And I've had a Jump the Shark episode where I played some of the worst metal songs of all time. So yeah, I don't take it too seriously. But just besides my show, there's lots of other great shows. Like Dave Mustaine has a show. Randy Blythe has a show. Ross the Boss has a show. So it's all over the map, and it's really cool. The fact that it's free is awesome, and you can listen to it 24/7. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working on the Scarecrow album, working on new Death Angel stuff, and my radio show, and hopefully jamming with Lars soon. And yeah, that's what's going on.
Okay, sounds like you're pretty busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
Will,
I'm healthy.
I have a question for you,
Nice.
Will.
Yo.
So, when you jam with Lars, please remind him the GBH guys are still looking for that bottle of champagne.
Okay. All right. I'm sure there's a story to that.
No. Dude.
Pray tell, Jimmy. Pray tell. Come on.
No. We could do that some other time.
All right.
Off the record.
Off the record.
Oh, come on.
Marking people out here. I don't know why you can't tell a story.
I let them drink the bottle of champagne. That's all I know. I caught them with the bottle of champagne. I didn't narc on them. It was him and Gordy Carbone. They were 16 years old, and then I brought them in and got them drinks. So,
all right.
Minors drinks. Like I never.
That's metal.
So you're like their favorite uncle.
Limitations is way over on that.
The Funkle.
I think in
The
metal scene,
Funkle.
we're all guilty of getting Andy drunk when he was like 12. We'd all sneak him over to the bar like, hey, let's get this little guy drunk, thought it was cool, but it's not cool, right? It's not cool. But
Dude, someone forwarded me a picture of Mustaine with, I think, Andy, and Mustaine's got like a beer in one hand and a joint in the other, and his arms are around Andy, and they're like, contributing to the delinquency of a mind?
and apparently
there's murder in the front row pictures.
Apparently, right before they took that picture, they both did a line together. So hey,
you weren't cool if you were partying
Area
back in those days. Everybody was doing it, right?
Wait, you mean we're not doing it anymore?
I'm not saying anything.
That depends on which band you're in.
Well, I think back in the day, drugs were like spandex. Everybody was doing it. No one wanted to admit to it. And when you got to a certain age, you had to stop.
Nice,
true.
nice, Barry.
Yeah,
We're
you
talking
can't
June
be
spandex?
30 and wear spandex. I don't care who you are. Stop it.
Okay. I'll have
I
to
was
remind
trying
you
to say
later
I
about
got
your
away with that.
spandex, okay?
Well, in Phil Sandoval's situation, he had to stop wearing armor.
No way. Wear the armor.
Yeah, that's true. It got really hot under that leather. Let me tell you, it got really hot under the leather.
I mean, hey, who wasn't listening to Armored Saint in like
I know.
8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th
Uh-huh.
grade?
Absolutely.
And
I
now,
mean, it was
Thank
all
you.
about. Do you remember there was a band, Jag Panzer? I think that.
Yeah, of course.
It was all that. It was just so awesome metal, man. It was just, God, it was so good, man. God, there was an era and a time when it was like it was all about Armored Saint.
Yep.
yeah.
It really
I remember
was.
that.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so
It was
much.
awesome.
We have a new
man.
album coming out. October 23rd. It's called Punching the Sky. We're doing online upcoming show at the Whiskey, and that's on October 10th. And me and Will have a long history. I've known Will for a while, and I used to work with him. We worked at City Post right there off 6th and Market on the Tenderloin. There's nothing tender about the Tenderloin.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, I want to tell the story how I met Phil.
Okay, go ahead.
I had a friend a mutual friend of ours named Gil. He was working at this place called City Post. It was a place that was kind of in competition with the U.S. Postal Service, and we would just deliver junk mail to businesses downtown. We'd push a mail cart around and just deliver junk mail. It was never anything anybody wanted. They were never happy to see us, at least me. they were never like, oh, more junk mail. Anyways, so our mutual friend got me the job. I show up the first day, and we're down in the dungeon like fucking sorting mail, and everyone has their own zip code. And at the time, I was in a band called Old Grandad, and we were pretty popular. We were pretty popular in San Francisco. This is like 97, 98. And metal was starting to come back in the city, but we were one of the only San Francisco metal bands around at the time. So we got a lot of attention. Anyways, I was working, and people were talking to me about Old Grandad. I was talking about shows we just played and whatever. And I could see this long-haired guy in the corner of the basement just kind of glaring over at me, and I'm kind of just talking big about I'm a drummer, and all the shows I'm playing, whatever. And he's looking over at me. He's kind of glaring over at me. And I was like, what's up with this dude, man? This guy seems like he's like scoping me out or some shit. So I kind of started.
Were you looking at Will's ass?
Actually, he was right across from me.
yeah. So I start small talking with him, like, hey, you like metal? And yeah, we're just talking about music a little bit. And he goes, yeah, I was in a band. And I was kind of like, oh boy, here we go. Another one of these guys. Like, I used to play. Like these bitter dudes that just had never amounted to anything. So I don't know. I was like, oh yeah, what band were you in? Kind of being a dick about it. Like, oh yeah, what band are you in? He goes, Armored Saint. And I just looked down for a second. And I looked at him and I go, you're Phil Sandoval! I go, oh my God! I couldn't believe it. I was shocked.
Foot in mouth.
I was so stoked to meet him. I was like, dude, I fucking love Armored Saint. So everyone in the office were like watching my reaction and like going like, what the hell? Like they didn't know Phil had this miraculous, like amazing history, And he was pretty low key at the office. So everyone was kind of looking at him like, what? What are you talking about? This guy Metallica used to open up for him? What? And I was like, dude! So the next day, I came back to work with all the Armored Saint vinyl, the Armored Saint VHS, everything that Phil is on. And I was like, look at this guy. Look at him! Look at him! He's wearing the armor and shit. You haven't done that. It's like everyone started giving Phil props, and like looked at him in a different light at work and gave him more respect or whatever. And he was stoked. He was like, dude, thank you for, I haven't felt this good in a long time, and it was my pleasure because Armored Saint are one of my favorite bands ever. And I just couldn't believe I was working.
Hey, Phil, did you get a raise?
He should have.
Did you?
No, we worked with some guy. We worked with some mafia guy from Chicago. He probably was in the Gambino family crime. He was going to give me a raise.
Yeah. Anthony,
you're lucky you're alive then, right?
Yeah.
Will come at you with a pen and make you sign all that stuff that he brought in.
No, actually, he signed the EP. I was like, sign the EP, dude. But I remember some of the guys working there were like, God damn, Phil, you're on VHS even? Like they were most impressed with the VHS tape through Red Times.
That's OG
Wow.
right there, VHS.
Right.
Super OG because I'll bet you he's got some tapes on beta.
Yeah.
Oh,
totally.
That's some super OG, right? That's double, triple OG right there. You got a beta tape.
Well, I believe I was promised props from you today. That you were going to present some of these props. Is one of them an Iron Maiden VHS? I mean, excuse me, an Armored Saint VHS.
Oh man, that's packed away so deep. I don't have it right now. I do still have it, of course, but yeah,
Of course
packed
you
away.
do. I have zero doubt that you have it.
Here's a question for all of us musicians. I mean, some of us have VHS tapes. I've never been on a VHS tape, an official one. But is anyone on an 8-track? I mean, no. Overkill never had an 8-track, did they? No.
No.
Yeah, okay. Armored Saint never had an 8-track, did they?
No.
Okay.
No.
Man, you guys were close.
Close.
You guys had to be close on that first record right around there. Remember 8-tracks always, the best song always clicked over to the next channel in the middle of the damn song. You were like, you're jamming and all of a sudden like, click.
Yeah.
All right, I might have dated myself right there.
I always hated that they faded out some of the tracks and then it faded back in and after the click. It's like, what the fuck? And the click always sounded better than the 8-track. It was so loud.
Yep.
It was definitely its number one demise.
Oh my God.
But once you went from 8-track to cassette, you couldn't skip songs anymore.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
Because you always were waiting for that click over. You're like, oh, what? Like, wow, it's not there.
Well, cassettes, that was the first time you made your own mixtape, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some good stuff right there. I mean, making a mixtape off the radio, that was some good stuff, man, when you were a kid. You were like, man, I'm an engineer now, 'cause I can press
Hey, Phil, I was going to play, did you want me, I'm going to play the first single off of your new album, End of the Attention Span.
Right on.
Has anyone heard this? First
I have.
Not yet.
Killer, man.
Nope.
Killer.
Yeah, it's really good. Let's see.
Hey, Bobby, your mic's off.
Willard, what are you drinking?
Drinking California's best red wine. Oh,
Red wine. Excellent.
Red wine, my
Chardonnay over here.
So good.
Nice.
It reminds me of Chemical Euphoria a little bit. The opening riff.
Yep. That's an observation into society's diminished attention span.
Really diminished as it always been short. You know.
It's actually diminished. It's actually
talking to drummers,
diminishing.
right? So we have a very small attention span anyway, right? So,
Yeah, among other things.
stuff.
Phil, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Great.
When did you? So when did you? When did you record this? Like, what's been going on with you guys?
January. We recorded the album last year, December and January, and then of course COVID hit. But we've been writing for about a year, and I remember going to see Death Angel at the Whiskey, and I gave Will Carroll Armored Saint T-shirt, and he wore it on stage. And I told them that we were writing songs then and stuff, and then we recorded it, and now it's coming out October 23rd. We're very excited.
Nice.
It's good.
Yeah.
Are you going to release another single before it comes out, or?
Yeah, we will. We did another single. It's going to be called. I don't know if I want to say it right now, but we did another video, and the singles are going to come out, and then we're going to do probably another song or video and stuff, because we're not going to be playing live for a while, so we might as well take advantage of doing some kind of audio and visual for the fans and stuff, and we'll see what we can. But we are doing that live stream at the Whiskey October 10th, and we're selling bundles, we're selling T-shirts.
It's your record release show, right?
Right, it's a record release show, yeah. So everybody should check it out. It's only $10. Support the bands, man. Support the bands.
Heck yeah.
The whiskey hasn't only been $10 in a
to make
long
sure
time.
that we can put it out on Facebook to make sure everybody can exploit it, so that way everybody knows exactly in October to tune in and
yeah, and we're also going to be answering questions on Facebook around that time. Everybody's going to be in line with that, and we're very excited. I wanted to say something about Death Angel and Armored Saint do have a bit of a history. We did play with Metallica, I think it was March 14th, 1985, and it was the very first time we played with Death Angel, and I remember Andy, the drummer, being so late. It was like they were all ready to get the show going, and everybody's looking for the drummer. I'm just going, "Where's Andy at? Where's Andy?" And like 5 minutes before they were set to go, he was back. He was knocking on the door and back of the Kabuki Theater, and he barely made it. And I remember that was a very cool gig, and I remember the walls were sweating. It was like the hottest fucking place to play, and the walls were actually sweating, man.
Yeah. Actually, I think Death Angel only played like 3 songs because he was that late.
Yeah,
Mom probably had to drive him there, right?
Yeah,
so I mean,
Oh yeah.
At the Kabuki?
Maybe 5.
Yeah, the Kabuki. That was in 1985. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was there.
Very cool.
I was there at that show. Hey, Phil, what's up? I don't know if
Hey,
you
man,
remember me.
How's it going, Jimmy?
Hey, man.
So yeah.
Awesome. Hey Phil, I saw you guys. You guys opened for UFO at the Great American Music Hall. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Totally.
Thank you. That was very cool. That was very cool. We love UFO. I mean, back in the 70s, that was like when the killer bands, Thin Lizzy, UFO, Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin back in the 70s. So we were big, huge UFO fans, and when we got asked to do that, we were like, "Are you kidding?" But we were very honored, and I love UFO, and they were super cool guys, and Phil Mugg fucking killed it every night. I can't believe it. The guy is like, what the? You know what I mean?
He was amazing. I was watching him the whole time. It was just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. How many
Those
shows
songs,
did you guys? I'm sorry, go on.
How many shows?
Yeah, with them.
I think we did like 7.
Okay.
Yeah. Is their 50th anniversary?
Uh-oh.
4 years.
It was fantastic. Vinnie Moore was killing it too. Oh my God. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
just such a great night. Just a great night.
Totally. And what a great guy. He's such a nice guy too.
Is he?
Yeah, super nice guy.
Now, Phil, did you ever think that you would be this old still playing?
No.
Me neither.
No.
I mean,
I'm very thankful. You guys killed it too, man. I mean, you guys are freaking, we have a very strong fan base and people love Vio-Lence. You know what I
we're
mean?
blessed that way, yeah.
Yeah, you
But
guys
I mean,
are.
when you were young, right? You were like a 50-year-old metalhead. Now I'll probably be drinking tea sitting outside on the porch, right?
Very true.
It's amazing that how young you feel being a metalhead, right? At 54 years old, I don't feel 54, man. I feel like just all I do is kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I got braces, so I can't chew bubble gum. So, all I can do is just have fun jamming with my pals, like we did in high school, and
Yeah,
it's the coolest thing ever, man.
it is the coolest thing.
It's amazing.
It brings people together, and it brings all kinds of people together, and music is the foundation to a lot of people's livelihood,
And their happiness.
And their happiness, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an inner happiness that people overlook or write over, and it's very obvious. That's why people pick up the guitar. That's why they play drums in the garage, because for that little brief minute, you don't need drugs, you don't need alcohol. You can just go escape in your instrument, whatever that instrument is. Even if you're in the symphonic band, or you're in marching band or whatever the heck it is you do. If you play the triangle and you're lead triangle, man, get it.
Right. And support for anybody that plays music, beginner, intermediate, advanced, it doesn't even matter. There's a love and a support that we all have for everyone.
Yeah, it is truly great.
Yeah.
I think that's why the metal has its longevity that it does.
Right.
So,
it's a very beautiful thing, actually.
Yeah, very proud to be a part of it at this stage in life, man. It's definitely a blessing, right?
It sure is.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And congratulations on the release.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
That's so cool. That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
I couldn't imagine being the 10th grader driving around in my my friend's 82 Camaro, listening to Armored Saint, that here I am, I'm just shooting it with Phil. I mean, how cool is that, right? I mean,
that is very cool.
That's awesome. I mean, you guys are all, legends, living legends.
Thanks for
awesome.
that. Thanks for your wonderful words, March.
Yeah, no, seriously, it's just a little surreal, but it's great that all of you guys are still making music and good music. It's not like you kind of feel sorry for them, like, oh, it's great that they're back, and you're like, like this kind of thing.
Was it Larry the Cable Guy? He's like, I felt bad because what was it? Georgia Satellite, is playing at 7 and doors open at 8.
Early bird special.
Right, you're like, oh man, that's too funny.
Oh, I love it. Hey, Phil, what? It looks like you're doing something like your own thing, like a solo EP with your brother. Or tell us about what you're doing on the side there.
Oh yeah, I'm doing a solo EP. It's gonna have special guests, maybe a couple of special singers, and then I'm gonna have a couple of young cats, very young, have a go at playing a couple of leads on a couple of my tracks, and just kind of paying it forward, letting a couple of the young kids, a young bass player, young guitar player. We have a couple of ideas. So it's going to be an EP, and it's going to be song orientated, and I might have a couple of instrumentals, but it's not going to be an all instrumental guitar album. It's going to have like actual songs and singers and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
When should we expect that? Or, I mean, where are
Probably
you
next
right
year. I'm just barely writing the music right now and stuff like that, getting some people together and stuff like that. Gonna be sending demos and stuff. So it's very embryonic right now at the stage, but it's definitely gonna happen, and it's probably by next year sometime.
now? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you working on now? I mean, maybe probably marketing the new album. Are you
Marketing
doing
the new
all of that
album,
social
yes.
media? Yeah.
Social media and stuff like that. And we also have a documentary movie from Russell Charrington, who's a he's University of what is it, Dartshire. He's in England, and he's a teacher, films teacher, and he interviewed James and Lars, and a lot of like Cliff Bernstein, a lot of people in the music industry, Scott Ian, and it's about Armored Saint, and it's a movie about our beginnings in the history of Armored Saint and stuff like that, and that's probably going to come out next year.
Oh, that's
Also.
exciting. Great.
I think Scott Ian is in every single heavy metal documentary he ever made.
I'm not kidding. He probably is.
He's not in it. He's probably the executive producer, right?
I used to see him on MTV almost every metal show. Every metal show. Scott Ian was in it.
In his defense, he is a pretty cool dude, man. He's pretty
No,
He's a great
no.
dude to hang out with. He's super metal, so.
Yeah, nobody's mad at him.
come
I
on.
think we're all just kind of jealous. Like, who's his agent?
Yeah.
He's probably not going to tell anybody.
That's funny.
Right?
No, he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. He's a cool guy.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
I agree.
Totally good. Yeah. I got to say
I should have
something.
invited him. It's like I should have invited him. He made him come.
Yeah. I got to say something about Will too. It's like Will knows his music, and when I was working with him, what astonished me about him too is that he knows so much about not just music but about movies. He could and stuff like that, and we connected very well with that. We would be having fun at work, quoting movies and Scarface and all that stuff. But he knows he's very well versed in not only music but movies and a lot of art like that. And that's why me and him got along very well.
I'm a big kid. And right now, I'm going through like comic book phase. Every like 4 or 5 years, I pull out my comic book boxes and start going to comic shops and spending lots of money on comics. So right now, I'm in the middle of that phase. But I'm just a big kid.
Nice. Good.
Phil, when were you living here in the city? When was this?
Oh well, it was the 90s. Yeah. See, I used to have a studio. There was a 1994. There was and I had a studio on Sunset. There was a Hollywood Billiards, and the earthquake destroyed the studio. So I was actually homeless. You know what I mean? Because I lived in the studio. I lived in my studio and stuff like that. So I went through my weird period and stuff. So I kind of moved. I've lived in Las Vegas for a year, and then I lived in San Francisco for about 4 or 5 years, and that's where I met Will.
Oh, okay.
The 90s.
Hollywood.
95.
Yeah. Wasn't that on Market Street, like on that upstairs? Was that Hollywood Billiards right there? That pool hall on Market Street?
No, he's talking about Hollywood Billiards in Hollywood.
In Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay, but you
The
weren't here.
the Northridge earthquake. Yeah. Now that other building you're talking about, yeah.
Hollywood Billiards off of Market. Yeah.
Right.
You're talking about the one on Golden Gate Avenue that I think it was a mob front, honestly, that Hollywood Billiards. Yeah.
Totally.
No one ever went there.
And it was huge. It was huge, and no one was ever in there.
There's always one of those buildings in every town that you're wondering, how do they stay in business? It's massive, and no one ever goes in or comes out.
Money laundering in San Francisco is rampant. You didn't hear it from me, but it's there.
It's wicked. You hear it from Nikki.
Awesome. So thank you, Phil. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining. We're really looking forward to this. So
totally.
Thank you.
Hey, it's cool, Phil. I'm a huge Armored Saint fan. So
Thanks, Perry.
that's
Thank you.
awesome, man.
Thank you, man.
Very
I
cool
think
to
we're
hear.
all really lucky to come from a time period and a genre where we all are fans of each other. Like, I don't think anyone here comes from a project that they're embarrassed by. Like, everyone here comes from an incredible project that you could listen to today and you could listen to 30 years ago and would still be just as good because it was such a huge glut of quality that happened in that period between like 83 and 89.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the lifespan of Bobby and Overkill. Like, when did you leave Overkill?
What a segue, huh, Bobby?
Yeah, good segue. Thank you.
Welcome, Bobby.
I'm just gonna sue you, Will.
It's said with love. Will said
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
love.
absolutely. I love the first 4 Overkill albums. Amazing.
Oh, I
The
love
only
Overkill.
4 I like.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
So, Bobby, what's the
And
answer?
Bobby
'Cause
and I are
yeah.
family, so I'm a little.
I think I actually auditioned probably like November of 82. And after like 2 auditions, I got in the band. So it was almost immediate. I was still in high school. No, that's right. No, I was still in high school. Yeah, so I went from 82 to 83. I graduated. And then we went out and started playing right after I graduated.
Wow. When did you leave Overkill?
90.
90?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, after all the chorus, the 4th album.
Okay. So
And the biggest album too, wasn't?
Yeah.
That was the most successful album, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that was the best one. That was Terry Date. We did shows. We did shows with Death Angel. A couple of shows. Did a couple of shows with Vio-Lence back in the day.
That's a couple crazy shows.
Yeah, I remember the first time I went to San Francisco with Metal Maria.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I was going to ask you. Yeah, Mega Force, Maria Ferrero. Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
It was Slayer and Megadeth. I think Exodus may have opened.
Probably. I think you're right.
Opened. But that's when I had the picture with me, Gary, and Kirk.
Yeah. Bobby was the coolest guy in Overkill.
Still is.
Hey, Bobby, you moved to San Francisco after the Overkill, so you were in the early 90s? Because I remember you here.
Yeah, I came out with Billy Milano. I think it was 92.
Yep.
Turned into 92.
93.
Was it? It was right. I remember sleeping on Dan Riley's couch. We woke up the next day and the World Trade Center got bombed. So I think that was like February. And I was there for about 2 months. Billy left right away, and I was there for about 2 months. And then I hooked up with actually Vio-Lence's manager, Debbie Abono, and I wound up staying with her and her family for about 2 years.
Oh, okay.
When we first went out, we were supposed to jam with Perry. We were setting up a rehearsal spot somewhere, and then Billy just decided he was leaving. And I loved it there. I always lived there. So I wanted to stay. I said, I'm not going home.
Mm-hmm.
And I wound up staying. I wound up playing with Tom Hunting.
Yeah. Tom Hunting and John Torres, right?
Yeah. And John Torres.
That was a cool recording you guys did. I-49.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the second tape that we did. And we handed that out at the Concrete Foundations Forum.
Yeah.
Back in the day, but yeah, that didn't go anywhere. A couple of good songs on it, but Tom sang. He's a great singer.
Yeah.
But it just kind of faded out.
That's when metal was taking that dive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about
right then. I mean,
92, 93.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a hard time.
Yeah, it was a hard time for this type
Well,
of
I mean,
music.
Bobby came out because Bobby, Billy, and I were going to do a band called Bully Dance. And, obviously, when we came up with the idea, everything, it was a great idea. We all loved each other. We all got along great. And the industry had just taken such a nosedive that by the time everything progressed and we got to the let's put the band together stage, a year had passed. or almost a year, and there were no label interest. There was nothing concrete. Everybody was dying. I mean, Megadeth was selling all their gear. I mean, everybody. The Washington, Seattle grunge scene was coming out, and nobody was interested in Bay Area metal anymore.
Right.
You know, at least in the industry, you know, so you couldn't, without the money, and when it dried up, you really didn't have much of a future because there was no, you know, there was no revenue. You
It was
could
a weird time to write because bands didn't know where to go.
right.
We 10 years of thrashing everything out, and then where do you go? How do you compete with, you know, Seattle? And I think a lot of the bands kind of fell off the wagon a little bit. But now coming back, actually going back to the original stuff that we wrote in the 80s and reviving that same feeling again. And everything that was our competition before is already come and gone.
Yep.
Exactly. It's yeah.
And they have no longevity,
Thrash
not like
stayed-
we do.
Yeah, Thrash stayed alive all this time. And like you guys were talking about before, I find it better now being in my 50s than playing in my 20s. I barely remember my 20s, first of all. But besides, like, none of these bands, now we're not in competition with each other. We're all out. We want to play. We want to make the best music we can. We want to have fun. There's no competition. You know, no one's, you know, fighting with each other. We've outgrown that. And it's way more enjoyable now, I think, to make music.
I agree.
I
Yeah.
totally agree. Like back then there was an East Coast, West Coast kind of thing, and even a Bay Area, LA thing, you know. But that's all gone now. I mean,
dude, there was a Bay Area thing.
Exactly.
I'm bigger than you, and we'd all pull our dicks out and start pissing. Sorry, but you know, we all did it as part of that youth and that young BS that you get caught up in, and you know, to a certain point, it's healthy, and to a certain point, it just destroys your own inner soul. So now it's a much better atmosphere, man, and you know, I love it.
Better
You know,
together now.
I love hanging out with Will. Yeah. I love hanging out with Tom. I love hanging out with Mark Hernandez. I love hanging out with everybody, and I couldn't enjoy watching other drummers more play metal now and tripping on their technique and their talent and how they approach things. And it really, when you open your mind up and get rid of that BS, man, life is just so much more enjoyable, and it's really you really start to feel blessed when you can open your mind that way a little bit, you know. And you know, that's always a struggle, you know, to keep yourself centered and balanced. But I think
we're all happy as shit to go out on and tour with each other now.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah.
There's no competition for like I said to these guys before. I said, you know, every time the San Francisco guys get together, they're all hugs. Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, you're doing so great. I love your album. And it's like, it was always atmosphere. And it wasn't that way in New York. We were like not helping the other band. You know, it was like, oh, you're on your own. You know, we had to sweat it out. So you guys got to sweat it out. Now it's like, that's all kind of gone. And I think that's making it way.
It's a supportive, more supportive environment. And Sean mentioned that when he was here a couple of months ago, saying, man, if we had known what we know now back in the day, we would have been supportive of each other to make this scene stronger, right? But you know, like he said, it's like it was just like every time they'd play with like Death Angel Forbidden, it's like, we're gonna crush them, we're gonna be the best. It's like there was, and even as a fan, it's like, well, if I wear this Forbidden shirt, I can't wear a Violence or buy a Violence shirt or a Testament shirt because I'm Team Forbidden or you're Team Violence. Even among the fans,
I remember
it
those
was like
days.
that.
Yeah, big
Do you remember?
time. Big
Right?
time.
It's like
Yeah.
if you're wearing DA, you're not even like, I want to buy that shirt, but I can't because I'm Death Angel.
I was always Team Violence.
That's hilarious. I would buy Violence shirts on the lowdown, and I would swap them out if I saw someone wearing a Forbidden shirt or any other shirt. At the time, I'd like, look, you give me that shirt, and I'll give you this shirt.
I know
And
it's like so secret. It was like so weird, wasn't it? But it's funny to talk about this now. It's like secretly, like in the back, like the bottom of the drawer, like your other shirts that you can't wear.
you know, I always had a forbidden shirt. Who am I kidding? I bought a forbidden shirt. I had Death Angel shirts. I had everybody's shirt. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I supported everybody financially that I could. Right. You just maybe didn't tell everybody, but you did. You bought their album. You bought their
it's true.
t-shirt.
It's true.
The truth comes out, Barry. Huh?
You, of course. I mean, you know, before we all had album deals, I mean, I would pick Craig up at his house from Forbidden. We all jammed really close to each other, and we all hung out. We all, you know, would go find a couple of joints and smoke joints at practice and hang out and jam and have a few beers. You know, we were 18, 19, 17. And it was a great time. I mean, how cool is it to just be a young kid in your teens, pick up an instrument and make your own music? That was a pretty cool time. It was really, really a cool thing. And I don't think I think a lot of us do realize how privileged we were and how blessed we were to have been a part of that time, or to have just enjoyed it the way we did. And I think that's why you see a lot of us will all high five each other and say, "Hey, how you doing, man? That's great. We can't wait." Because I think a lot of us do realize that, you know, it's a blessing to be part of this privileged group of metalheads and to have lasted this long, and to still be somewhat relevant in some way is truly the best compliment that anybody could ever have, no matter what you're doing. Right? You always want to be relevant, you know. And I think that's really that's where I get the cool points, and it makes me feel good inside that people still like the music. It's not how big we are; it's just that people still dig listening to metal, and that really is the coolest thing ever. Truly.
So, tell me about. So it looks like Bobby goes way back. I mean, back in the day. So how did this come about? Like Bobby getting recruited into Vio-Lence? It was you.
Bobby and I are fucking good friends, man. And Bobby and I'll let Bobby go ahead. You tell him.
Barry said, "Welcome to the freaking band." Oh, he didn't use freaking. No, I mean, I guess I was in the back of your mind for a while.
Well, we both, you know, both of us wanted to do something together and play together somehow. We'd always been talking about it, even before Vio-Lence got together. You know, Bobby and I would be online, and it was like, hey, it'd be really cool if we could do that. And unfortunately, logistic-wise, we were just on other sides of the states, you know. He's on one side, I'm on the other. And things got going with Vio-Lence and progressed, you know, one thing after the other. You know, none of us really saw it coming. We just kind of went with the flow. And things presented itself. And it was like, Bobby is an amazing guitar player. He's the coolest dude ever. And my approach was, if I can get along with Bobby and Bobby and I are good friends, and if that can happen, I'm like, Sean and Phil is like, you guys will love this guy.
Gotcha.
You know, I mean, if he can deal with me and I can deal with him, you guys are a cakewalk. So, you know,
right. So that was the hardest part. I see.
Yeah, and talent was never a question. So that was always, you know,
Let's not fool each other. These two are like, they're like brothers, and they're like, I spent 4th of July with them, and like, it's so incredible how these two are like such great friends, and it's beyond everything else. It's like,
that's awesome.
It's really, really cool.
Okay, so let's talk about the new the cover song that just dropped yesterday. So whose idea was that to do Dead Kennedy's California Uber Alice? Is it Sean?
Well, I'm not sure who's exactly. I mean, we had a couple covers we were playing. We have a couple Fear covers and things like that we like playing. and we knew that everybody really was really hitting us up for an original single. And we're in the mode right now where we are writing, rewriting, until, like Phil will say, Phil needs a 10-foot boner on everything. Sorry for the language, but everything has to be on 11, right? And to my expectations, it is. And it's some of the hardest stuff I've ever had to learn and come up with and play. But as a group, we had changed so much, and everybody was doing their collaborative jams, you know, online and getting together and doing stuff. And I could just see that Sean was just itching, right? Like there's something inside of him, like he is just ready to go. And I'm sure you talked to him. They're just his new lease on life, his drive, his passion for music, and what he wants to do is so Vio-Lence. Number one, first, foremost, everything is about that. And it was like, well, let's try to come up with a nice cover tune that we didn't write, that's already written, so there's no arguing with that, right? When you play a cover, there's nothing to argue about. Everything's already done. You just kind of put your 2 cents in, and we could all get in the studio. We could work a little bit together. We could get that vibe going, and we could collaborate a little bit on a song that's already written and get into the studio and just do some work together and just kind of feel it out. And that's what we wanted to do, and I think we accomplished that. It was a great experience. We all had a lot of fun. We recorded this in our studio, in our jam studio. I mean, Christian produced it, recorded it. Christian and I bought a lot of the equipment and built a studio. He had a lot of it already. And we made it a lot of fun. And I had a blast. And it was just a great experience, man.
Okay, let's I'm going to share it. Okay, so in case anyone hasn't checked it out yet.
Fantastic.
Okay, awesome. Let me bring it up. There it is.
Bobby.
I'm gonna take a pee break. Hold on. I'm in the pool, so I can do it right now.
Yeah, you're in the pool, bro. It's just.
He doesn't want to pee in his own pool.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's your pool. No one else is gonna worry.
Right. Don't you forget it. Right?
Yeah, just put a little extra chemical in it.
Turn blue. Remind me to jump in that.
It's warm.
Cherry brown, battle fires it never fails. medication time. Medication.
Now it's 1984. Knock, knock at your front door. There's a swank and a secret police. They have come for your love police. Come quietly to the kid. You look nice as a frosted lamb. Don't worry, it's only a shower. For your clothes is a pretty flower. Try to get it, poison gas. Something takes away hash. You're a crooked little clown. When your best friend comes in brown. When your best friend comes in brown. California, you're the wildest. California, you're the wildest. You're the wildest. California, you're the wildest. California.
Yeah.
That
Cool.
was fun.
Hey, is that Dean on bass?
No, that is not Dean on bass.
Wow. Okay, he looks different.
Because
That
it's
is Christian.
yeah, tell us about Christian's oh wait, hang on, I need to pause that. Christian's role.
We haven't really got into it, but Dean has had he has a good job. He works for Muni, and he wanted to keep his job. You know, he's got a young daughter, and he's got a lot on his plate. He has a lot of responsibilities that require him to take care of them, and getting time to break away to do the things that we were doing was just a little difficult, and
Impossible.
It just was really, really difficult for him. And I think that's kind of how that came about. I mean, I miss Dean. I miss him a lot. I mean, you lose your right hand man, and what can I say? I love Dean. I miss him, and it was just something that just didn't work out.
So who's the bass player now?
Christian Old Waldler, and I probably didn't even say that right. From Fear Factory.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
He's an amazing. He's the craziest down picking bass player I've ever met. He's one of those guys that that minute, you know, like Bobby. The minute we all got together as a band with the two new members, we were instantly catapulted to a new level that we didn't even realize existed. There's just sometimes people can come in and it just gels right. It just happens. It wasn't expected. We certainly didn't know it. I mean, we hoped for it, but what can I say? It just fucking worked, man. And I remember the first time we all jammed, it was just like I had to run outside like Rupik and Dirty Rotten Imbeciles banging a pan. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It's so awesome. And everybody's like, just shut up and can we play the rest of the set? And so.
Wow. Yeah, no, it sounds like
even when they shot the video, that you saw a level with all of them, all of them together. That was like, it was so unique that you would think that they were together like for years, for all those years. And they all just sat back and chilled. And then it was like, you know, Bobby and Christian just, it's like, wow, these guys are new, but they're not new. They're part of the whole band now. It's so incredible now.
Totally, man.
Yeah, it's we all known each other for a long time. We might not have played together, but friendship wise, we were all very cool with one another. And I think it was very cool that somehow it just flowed. We let it happen. And
it was organically, yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'm super psyched to be in this band, man. I mean, I've it feels like high school again almost, you know, like when you're 20 years old and you got that stupid little feeling inside you and you can't wait to get off work and go jam in a 105-degree studio, but you don't give a shit because all you want to do is just jam with your boys, man. That's good stuff.
I love that you guys picked a punk cover because I feel like in like LA or DC, metalheads and punks were just oil and water, except for in San Francisco and New York where it was like chocolate and peanut butter. You know, there were so many crossover bands that make good music, and metalheads do great punk songs, and I just love it.
Yeah, that was an excellent cover.
It was fun. You know,
Yeah,
I
very cool.
really enjoy the haters. That's what I got to be
I know
honest.
you do.
When
You're
someone is
saying it.
just all up in my shit and they're like, you're a second-rate drummer in a third-rate thrash band, I'm like, yes, I am. I'm so totally that. I am every
proud
bit
of
of
it.
that.
I get to hear the banter between the whole band, and like after the videos, like, and I get to see it all. And I have to say, I am the most like, I'm so pissed. Like, oh fuck you, assholes!
Yeah, you
like,
do
fuck you,
get mad.
assholes! And then all of a sudden, these guys are just laughing, like, oh my god! And I'm like, oh my god, these guys are like, you're too professional. I'm sorry, but you guys
To
are.
me, if you're not getting that hate group,
Right.
you're not doing it right.
That's
Right.
Like,
I
if
guess.
there isn't someone talking shit about your mom, who's never seen your mom, you're not doing it right. You know, I mean,
Right.
it's just, my wife is the same way. Like, don't you want to kill that guy? It's like, no, I really don't care less.
It's like being in grade school, same shit.
Yeah,
I know your
it's
wife. I know your wife's look is like, who is this person? Like, who the hell is this guy? What the hell?
But my wife, you know, my wife does karate, so you know,
I know.
I got to calm her down because she'll
I
kick
know.
the shit out. She's 5'2" and she'll kick you blue.
The difference
Were
from
there?
because before, if someone wanted to talk shit, it was at the show. You had to wait to show. Now everyone's got a computer.
Yep.
You got
Yeah.
Right.
The faceless.
Constantly, yeah.
Hey, Perry, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I heard a rumor that there was somebody that started giving you shit publicly from another band about that cover. Have you heard about that?
No.
Jamie's gonna spill the beans,
What did
bro.
you hear?
No.
What
I
did you
don't
hear,
know.
Jimmy? What did you hear, Jimmy?
Come on, Jimmy, lay it
There's
down.
been a few people.
You guys-
I don't cyber stalk anybody,
Oh, he'll
so
name
I'm
names.
not sure if they were in a band or not. I'm not going to attack them because obviously they're.
There's nothing to defend. It's a cover.
It's
right.
You know, it's like I realize it's not a violent thing, but we do realize that.
You don't attack, you just eviscerate.
Well, you know, I'm just going to say whatever the hell's on my mind and then walk away. I don't care what other people think. If you're with me, you're with me. If you're not, you know what? If you're
I
not,
love this guy.
I'm totally cool with it. I respect you. I respect it in a point that I will just walk away. You know? And because everybody's view on everything is different, and that's okay. You know, that's okay. You know, have your own opinion. Be your own person, man.
I call that the blabbermouth effect.
We're talking to Blabbermouth, right?
I mean, let's face it, the blabbermouth comments have taken a life of their own. They are their own entertainment source. Like, sometimes I'll read an article just because I know the comments are going to be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I won't even read the article. You just read the header and you're like, yeah, okay, we're going straight to comments.
Oh yeah, we're going to that. You know, it's like, all right, now because I played a cover, I'm some fairy ass homosexual God loving this, that, and the other thing. It's like,
liberal snowflake.
well, or not. I
Shut
don't
up,
know
Perry.
how you came to that
Shut
conclusion
up.
listening to music, right?
James.
It's like, okay.
You know, so Bobby's laughing right now, like he knows.
Don't drown, James.
Well, you know, I don't care who you are. You can be whatever you want to be. That's the beauty of life, right? So do it. But you know, if you're going to tell me I'm a bigot and whatever else while you're sitting there bitching at me, aren't you the monster that you claim you hate?
Word.
Yep.
And
Truth.
you know, we all battle with that balance, right? That's a balance, and you know, everybody battles with that. You know, everybody's a little racist, whether it's cheese or milk, whatever. You hate one over the other. Try to be a nice person and just you can be at all cool. Be cool. That's all.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, just don't be a major dick. Have fun with it.
You know, and if you can, go out of your way and do one damn thing that just helps somebody. Open a door for a lady.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know?
Speaking of which, guys, I mean, we're all having a video call. Obviously, we're not completely in the poorhouse. One thing I'd like to reach out is I've been noticing that the homeless crowds in, like, I'm in Milpitas, you know, I go to San Jose and whatnot, and I see, you know, the crowds are getting bigger.
They are.
So last weekend I went to Costco and got a bunch of water and started handing them out. So whatever you guys can do to help these cats, because we've all been down in our luck. We've all been in the shitter.
Yeah.
So whatever we can do to help out, you know.
Yeah.
Because we're fortunate enough to be able to do that.
Now I've handed out water too and had him look at me and go, "Can I have $1 instead?"
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've had those assholes too. Well, I just want drugs. I'm like, well, I don't have any, so I can't help you, bro. But I have water.
Looking at him,
It's like
"Well,
110
so do
degrees
I,
out
but
here.
I gotta pay for them.
Okay, if you're looking for somebody who will appreciate your charity that isn't probably mentally ill and you know receiving you poorly, there are a lot of fires going on right now.
Oh yeah.
I had to evacuate my parents from Fairfield. A lot of Fairfield and Vacaville just went up. Huge parts of Santa Cruz are going up right now, and those fires.
A mile from me, it's burning.
Yeah,
you know, it's like I live in Milpitas. The other side of the town is evacuated.
Right. I'm in
You can
Manteca,
donate
so
to
I
Cal
mean,
Fire. You can
it is
donate
literally
Yeah.
black outside.
Yeah. That's another great cause, you guys. I mean, you know,
I would take it one better, bro.
Politics aside,
somebody,
the economy's going to shit. So let's help people.
Right. And if you know somebody, maybe rather than spread water, you know, maybe just go personally give your time and help somebody out, man.
Oh, sure. Or talk to them. You know, whatever.
Or just time is more valuable than money. So usually.
I mean, someone that cares,
Who
you know.
said metal was assholes, right?
That's right. We are assholes, you know.
Well, I mean,
very small hearts of gold.
We may all individually be very opinionated people. We are also recognizing the fact that we come from a community of people who were initially marginalized. You know, we were the last kids of the 70s, 80s. A lot of us had huge swaths of time where nobody gave a fuck about where we were or what we were doing, which is kind of how we all gravitated toward metal. And that kind of creates a mindset that never leaves you. You know what it's like to spend huge amounts of time in solitude and to kind of find your tribe and your people and to take solace in that. I think that's a thing that we all can pay forward.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where you battle resentment, right? You'll battle that resentment because you know you don't want to resent everybody. You don't want to resent things. You know, I think today a lot of racism gets mistaken for resentment. You know, and people can't quite put it all into the right categories. But regardless of that, metal, you know, there was when we were young. I think that's why we always talk shit to each other when we were younger. Is, you know, there was this resentment and jealousy. You know, hey, you're bigger than how, you know, you're bigger than me. You got a tour bus, I don't. How come? And when you get older, it really doesn't matter because you base it on your own blessings, right? And it doesn't matter what X and Y have. It only matters what I have and what I feel. And if I feel blessed, then I am blessed.
Well, at the same time, don't you feel that the same, you know, you have nothing left to prove when you get older? You know what I
You
mean?
have something to prove, especially
Well-
when you're older. You have to prove that you're not an old dying dinosaur.
I mean, as far as being like that competitive jerk that's asking about the bus, you know, it's like you get older. It's like, I don't give a shit about the bus. I know none of us have a bus now.
Well, I think a lot of us are like,
Speak
I'll
for
just keep
yourself.
the money.
Or you got a limo in Will's case.
Right, I'll
Sorry,
sport
Will.
a Volkswagen VW if I get extra money. I don't care.
Will's got a bus.
Yeah.
I saw it. It was outside Tesco's one time.
He'll give them out if you ask him real nice. He'll find them.
It's great that it doesn't say Matco Tools on the side. So.
I think with age has come experience, and with that experience, we've all been able to put ourselves in some shoes we didn't expect to be in.
Well,
we
and humble,
know how
being
hard
humble,
it can
right?
be.
Very humble.
Yeah.
Along with that, right?
I think humility should come with age because you kind of need to be less of an asshole. We were all young and we all had 100% health and huge potential ahead of us. And now that we've all grown 30 years from that, we know that some things are harder for people than others.
I
mean,
a lot of it too is you
and how
realize
we all
that it's a
look.
complete waste of time to not your anger, right?
Yeah.
And so if you can leave a lot of that at the door, you really save yourself high blood pressure, bad health.
Well, but that shows an emotional, you know, an emotional maturity that not a lot of people have learned in these days and age. You know, it's like it's this gimme with anyone under a certain age. You know, be it 30 or 35, whatever the determined number is.
Right.
So,
And
you
a
know,
lot of people are too young to have worked for anything long enough to realize how
To
much
appreciate
it costs and how damn hard it is to get
the
it.
long term. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. You know.
But yeah,
If
even
we all
some
didn't
of
have
them.
anger issues, we would none of us gotten into metal.
No, oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course. We had anger issues. We probably
Yes.
still do to some degree, but we also understand
But we
why
really
our
have
parents
those
did that they
anger
did or
issues.
whatever.
Right.
Yes, we've discovered appropriate catharsis for our anger issues.
Exactly.
No, it's true.
Yeah, it was weed.
It's weed and metal.
I don't think my dad drank or smoked. My mom and dad smoked weed. They were drinkers, right? That was their time. And obviously, drinking and smoking are two different side effects. And dealing with anger and frustration, right? So.
Well, dude, I was born and raised Mormon, so I don't know how the hell my parents coped.
I know where all the Mormons live, just in
Yeah,
case
it's like-
the zombie apocalypse happens. I know where all the Mormons live. I know where their food storage is.
Oh, dude, isn't that epic? The pantry is epic. My dad's got like a 15 by 4 foot pantry, and I'm like, what the hell? He's like, dude, just in case.
But you know what? He'll be the first guy you go move in with.
Hell
There you
yeah.
go.
Or
You're
when
like,
you're hella
Dad
stoned,
might
you're
have
like, "Oh, I'm going
100
to
gallons of oatmeal, but I'm gonna live.
Yep.
Hey, have you guys? I saw that Psychosomatic did a version of Serial Killer. Did you guys listen to it yet? I wanted to check it out. Have any of you?
Yes.
I'm
Because I'm
gonna
real
play
good
it. Is it
friends
okay?
with Jeff, so Jeff sends me everything.
Is it worth checking out?
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to
Yeah,
check
let's
it out
do
right
it.
now. Let's do
All
it.
metal's
Sorry,
worth
I was
checking
all
out.
bio all fucking week. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's check it out. I was curious, but this is the perfect time to
Sure.
listen to it with you guys.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Vigorous beast, my mind is lost and eternally out of my reach. Witcher, into the streets,
Those transitions were killer.
That was so good. Yeah, no, I it was on my list to check out, so I thought
was
this would be
good.
the perfect place. Little listening party. That was awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Hey
I
Perry,
think it's always a compliment if someone covers your stuff.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And they did it really well. So
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, their drummer is like a freak of nature.
Yeah, we'll have to have them on in a future one. So thank you so much. We're a little bit over the 2-hour mark. So thank you so much. It was fun hanging out with you guys, ladies and gentlemen, and having beers and listening to music and having a great chat. So really appreciate yeah, Perry and
I gotta
Bobby
get
and
out of
Phil.
I gotta get out of this pool. I am way too pruny right now.
Are you pruny? Shrinkage? Will,
Hey,
shrinkage.
Nikki.
It's kind of
It
man.
doesn't
Damn.
shrink
So now it's the size of a thimble. Damn.
Hey, hey, you sound
Everyone.
like a man of experience there, Jeremy, buddy. What now?
Have a
I
have
love
a
you
great
guys.
weekend.
It was
Stay
a-
safe. Stay
so
safe.
good.
And
All right.
We go through so many other subjects, and we really talk about a lot of different shit. And I think that's what's so great about March's little thing that she has. It's not little, but we end up being. It's really cool. It's
Hey,
really
Willard.
awesome.
Thank you.
Willard,
Thank
has March told you what we're trying to work on right now together?
No.
I don't know if you care about it. Some of you guys are going to laugh at me, but Steve Lukather from Toto wants to do one.
He's God.
Dude.
He's awesome. God, I love him. He's one of my favorites. So yeah,
I wish
He's
I have
funny
a
as
photo
shit.
poster somewhere in the garage.
He's funny.
Wrapped up with an Asia poster. It's with my members only jacket.
Oh my God.
Hella.
And that's wrapped up with a Perry Ellis vest.
Don't forget the Asia flights.
I'm sorry.
Oh
You're
my
the one
God.
that's making fun of the 80s right now?
I was
No. He was representing, not disrespecting.
Yeah, I don't
Difference.
Not all that
No.
crap.
We all love that. Come on, no way.
I don't know.
Wasn't Perry? Perry's the one that said, "Get rid of you. If you have spandex over 30, you should not be wearing spandex." I bet
Right.
you
That's
still got
spandex.
some black spandex somewhere.
In that, yeah, next to the Asia.
I was the
Next to
drummer.
Asia
I was lucky enough to get
We
away
don't
with
wanna see-
bicycle riding shorts.
Nice.
I could always say, well, I'm not
Right
wearing
now.
spandex. I'm on a bike ride here after the show.
I always loved how Lars
Yeah,
made
so-
fun of spandex, but he wore spandex on stage. It's like, what are you doing?
That's funny.
What do
I
they
would
call
bet
that
right
in the
now,
movie The Heat?
right
They
now,
were
that every
Spanx,
single one of
right?
you
They
people
weren't
has been
spandex. They were Spanx. It keeps all your
Oh my
stuff
goodness.
together. It's like, what's going to come out?
I'm gonna bet money right now that every single person on this call has a pair of black stretchy jeans in their closet right fucking now.
Guilty.
They may not be lip service brand, but y'all got black stretchy jeans, and don't fucking pretend you don't.
Probably
You
the
mean
only
skinny
doesn't-
jeans?
Skinny jeans. Wait, are they ours or our spouses? I mean,
My spouse is 5'2", so it doesn't work out.
But thanks, you guys. Yeah, so Jimmy, looking forward to that. I mean, Steve Lukather, I actually cried. It was like he played at the Jason Becker benefit, one of the first benefits. At
Yeah.
Slim's, and oh my God, I was just like in tears. It was just like so moving. He's an amazing player, one of my favorites, top
Yeah.
3. So
Awesome.
yeah, let's make it happen. Let's
Yeah,
do it. And
I'm working on it.
Guitar Heroes. I went Mark McGee. I have my list. Mark McGee, and a couple of other people.
Bobby want to be involved?
Let me know.
Steve Lukather? Yeah, man.
He's a legend. So yeah, we'll be in touch. We'll be in touch with you guys.
Okay, cool.
Nikki, you have to come back too.
Thank you to all of us.
Take care, everybody.
All
I'm
of
out
us
of here.
Violence for having us. Thank you so
Have a
much.
great one.
Well,
Nice to see a lot of these people's faces. Thank you.
take care, guys.
See you guys.
Thank you.